Okay, so carrying on with this cough fee story. As I was working behind the scenes here telling the story, there's a little bit more information. So it appears though, my concept of when I said if I got my foot in the door with the Hard Rock Cafe, would have made me a billionaire. Yeah, the investigation I did behind here indicates that they would have accepted my proposal to become their coffee supplier. I mean, um, it's one Native American scratching another Native American's back, right? So that type of mentality. So that's the story I'm going to tell you about. But I'm going to delve into a little bit more about the Seminole tribe, but also up front, I want to tell you about Olivia Rodrigo. Like she has this unseen emotion to drive this campaign of fair trade for the business, our business, I should say. Um, so that's what I want to focus on here. So I took this picture here of her. Like she's talking to a reporter. And when she's talking to the reporter, she says, "I always knew that I wanted to lead the campaign with it." So she's actually talking about the Drop Dead, like this bringing her new album online. She wants to lead the campaign with this one song called Drop Dead. But that's not what she's actually talking about. Behind the scenes, Olivia, that's your spirit actually letting me know that it's important that you lead this fair trade initiative for for mankind. Like because we'll be, husband and wife, I might as well say it's important that you lead the campaign. Like basically there's marketing that you can do, right? Like you can do marketing. Like I seen Dua Lipa, she's doing a coffee marketing campaign. So there's so much aspect to it from that perspective. Like you could um it comes from that perspective. Like so this is she's doing an espresso campaign. So it comes from that perspective. Like you want to lead a campaign like this, but also you want to have like a big say in operating this worldwide and helping these farmers out because you believe in the fair trade story that I told you. So it's important that you lead that campaign. So the campaign can mean like doing commercials like this, but it means operating, the business so that farmers can get paid equally or paid a true fair trade price and not just what society deems as fair trade. So when you're talking in your video here, this is the one here, the story of Drop Dead. If you ever see it, um, I think it should be on this page here. So the story of Drop Dead by Olivia Rodrigo by Stages Six Music. So if you look that up, when you hear her say, I always knew that I wanted to lead the campaign with it, she's talking about fair trade campaign and wanting to lead that initiative. So that's what I'm going to focus on. So the reason why it's important to her is I was watching this video here. The best coffee in the Philippines. So if you pull this up here, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm beginning to watch it. That's where I deem it's important for her to become, a lead role in bringing fair trade coffee to the world as mother and father. So when you say I always knew that I wanted to lead the campaign with it. That's what it's referring to. It's important that you lead this coffee initiative for the world. So now I want to talk about the excess information. Like had I been able to get what I wanted, I would have got my door. I would have got my foot in the door with them. So I look sad because I just got done crying because I was watching this story about these this lady here from the Seminoles Native American tribe. This one here, okay. She's talking about she doesn't want to move. Like I feel like that in the future we're gonna have to move north, and I don't want to leave my land. So that's why I was crying. I was crying as I put this song on behind the scenes home to let them know that you're gonna have to move back over here, because if you watch this part of the movie here, the Seminoles, they used to live up here in Georgia. Then they moved down to Florida, so they're not really from Florida. They migrated there. So I basically said that they're gonna have to move back north. That's why I was crying in this video here, because it's very emotional for me to pick up a whole entire group of people and move them somewhere where they don't really want to go. And I'm pretty certain that they're not the only people. Like, if you're a Floridian, I'm pretty certain that you don't want to leave Florida either. So that's where this story's coming from. So I just want you guys to know that the reason why I took a picture of this here is this that symbol. It's a representation of when we terraform the planet, when we get rid of evil and good's in control, and we can terraform the planet. We can build a system of dikes, or build it up so that Florida, when the water's raised, because the ice caps, they're going to melt. When the ice caps melt, like in the water in the north and all the ice on Antarctica melts, the sea levels are going to raise 220 feet. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. They're going to raise by that much. So because they're going to raise by that much, that means that we're going to have to build some kind of a dike system around Florida that is at least 250 feet high, 300 feet high. And that's what these little things represent. So as I was listening to home, I happened to scan across. I was trying to think in my head, how can I fix this so these Floridians don't have to leave their home? So that's the solution. And the person telling me that is the Q. That's my own spirit. Okay, so that means that we're going to build like when the planet gets deatomized and we reatomize it, Florida will be there, but it'll be a little bit different. Like we'll have to raise it up a certain amount. That's what that represents here. So the entire peninsula of Florida is going to have to be raised up a minimum of 250 feet, because in the future, when the ice melts, that's how high the waters are going to be. So you guys will be living on like a pretty much a cliff for the better part of I'd say several thousand years, until the water melts. And once the water melts, then you can go back and enjoy the oceans is the way you enjoy them now. So that little symbol, I can tell that we're gonna have to build up Florida, and that's possible when the good guys are in control, because the spirits of the planet, they're the ones that deatomize it and then reatomize it back as it was. They take a snapshot of the planet, put everything back the way it was. We use technology and the seven waves of electromagnetism to reatomize the planet back the way it was. But in the case of creating the super cities, we have to harvest the material, and then we have to make the material so that we can build our super cities. And there's going to be 110 super cities. Each super city is like a circle, and it has 40 condo towers. Those condo towers house 2.5 million people per condo tower. So 40 condo towers means that there's 100 million people per super city living in those condo towers. So because those super cities are built in a ring, that's connected to the Florida Keys. So I was doing some research down here, telling my story. So I could tell that the Florida Keys and the key ring means that you guys are going to get your city like a super city there. That's what the Florida Keys and the key ring means. It just means that, well, like I said, for thousands of years, you're going to have to be living up on a bluff. You won't be able to go down to the river no more. Or we might be able to if we create some kind of a transit system so you can drive down to the base. But that's how I can tell that you're going to have your cities. So this is little pink houses. It's about living in pink glass condo towers. Now, if you want to watch this here, there are cities up there. global sea levels rise. I took a picture of that, I think. Right here. So they said Seattle, New York, Boston, and Miami would be all totally submerged underwater. The same principle here. We probably could build that entire peninsula up. So if you're from Boston, New York, and you don't really want to leave that area, we could build a super city there. Same principle. So the entire state of Florida, not only that, but many major cities worldwide. So that's the power of terraforming a planet using godly powers and technology. So this lady here is why I was crying because she doesn't want to leave her land. So when you watch this, I don't know what your name is, but it's your spirit helping bring this issue to the forefront, so I can let people know not to worry about having to be relocated to a different location. So I feel like in the future we're gonna have to move. No, move north. I don't want to leave my land. So that's an issue to her. Like she thinks that because of the rising water, she's gonna have to move off the land, right? So I'm letting her know, and the Seminoles know, and Floridians know, and other people where there might be issues that I'll do everything I can to try to keep you located where your cities are. If that means building up a series of dikes, whatever, 250 feet in the air, then that's what it takes. So anyhow, these guys, they own the Hard Rock Cafe. So in 2006, Hard Rock Cafe are a massive international chain of restaurants, hotels, and casinos were bought for $965 million. The Seminole Channel, Florida. Today we begin to buy it back one hamburger at a time. So this is what it was being said at the beginning of this video. Buying it back one hamburger at a time. As a side note here, folks, I want you to pay attention to this because my teachings are about me having an animal soul or the planet's core. Okay, the planet's core. There's a black hole at the center of the planet. That's my soul. This here means the sun is my soul. Or this here, let's say this is the sun, that's my soul. The planet, that's my soul. And the moon, that's my soul. Because all three of those are my souls, I can rewind time here on planet Earth. And I could get rid of the imposters who are walking around here pretending to be people you're not. If somebody, tries to do something crazy, I don't know, like drop a nuke on me or assassinate me or with a bullet or blow me up with a valve of dynamite, whatever, I could rewind time to prevent my own demise. But in rewinding time, the electricity that being flowed from the sun onto planet Earth means that your souls would be shocked. That little electron that's inside of those people that you're pretending to be right now would get ejected because the black hole here is moving energy in and out like that. So think of the black hole of my soul pulling that electron out and putting it into the black hole of the planet's core. When you get that electron pulled out, sucked into the black hole of the planet's core, that person that you're pretending to be would have their soul put back into place where it needs to be. And when that happens, half the planet would wake up. Because I'm told that half the planet are asleep because of the war between good and evil, and evil teleporting people into mankind's bodies unbeknownst to them through the human climax, which ultimately kills them. So if half the planet right now are asleep because evil has killed them using the human climax and quantum teleportation of people's electrons into their single atom in the body, and I have to rewind time to save myself or whatever else, you'll die. I want you to remember that because that's important. I don't want you guys to die, but if somebody messes around with me, I could just rewind time like that and get rid of you. And it would cause a war where I then have to get my spaceships over here, but at least I'd be dealing with an entire planet of humans. Everyone would wake up on planet Earth and be like, what's going on? Half the planet would wake up and be like, The last thing I remember is dying from a climax. Yeah, me too. I just fell asleep on a climax. I'm suddenly back in my body. What's going on? How come I'm older? What's going on? Last time I remember dying as a teenager or a 20-something-year-old. Now I'm back in my body and I'm such an old man. The entire world will wake up. But because they're awake, they could watch this video and they could understand that's why they're awake, because evil put them to sleep. And now that they're awake, it's my job to exercise, get a message over to the elemental universe, get my spaceships over here so that we can wage war against the bad guys. So it's important that you not do anything that to jeopardize, those electrons in those bodies that you're pretending to be. Because if you do something to jeopardize that, and I have to rewind time, you guys won't be around here. There's a possibility that you guys could go home and become who you used to be in those bodies, but that takes time. Or if you want to stay the person that you are, there's the process that we could do that as well. You can stay the person that you are. So please don't do anything to jeopardize yourselves. That's what that means. I have the planet's my soul, the moon's my soul, and the sun is my soul. If anybody does anything wrong, I could just rewind time and, save myself. Because the planet's my soul. I'm the only person in creation where the planet is the soul. Meaning, I'll survive. So, what we're talking about here, though, is today we get to buy it one hamburger at a time. So, when he's talking about buying it one hamburger at a time, I think what we're looking at here is this one here. So Seminole, Native Americans who never surrendered by kings and generals. That's the one you want to watch where they talk about never surrendering. RSS Manhattan, sold Manhattan for trinkets. Today we begin to buy it back one hamburger at a time. So that hamburger is critical to understanding the story of me visiting the Seminoles, 10 years ago when I had my coffee roasting business up and running. If I got my foot in the door down there and talk to whoever the chief is of the Seminoles and say, hey man, I want to offer you a deal to roast coffee, and you put it in your casinos and all your restaurants. So the hamburgers it's connected to Pulp Fiction, which is this one here. Pulp Fiction, apartment complete scene. You can just type in Samuel L. Jackson, Pulp Pictures, Beach, that's everything. That's all I always type in. Usually one of these ones come up here. So you can still watch it that way. So the Seminoles, this one here, talking about buying it back one hamburger at a time, and this hamburger in here, it's metaphorical for the Seminoles. In the past, actually buying my coffee because they recognize how Native Americans have gotten a bad rap, and they would have scratched my back and said, "Oh, sure, we'll buy your coffee," because they recognize that the validity of my business and say, "Wow, that guy's he's roasting coffee and he could become very rich by if we support him." Imagine if he gets his foot in the other door. So it's like, they could see how their ability to buy back, their land or their wealth or whatever it is, make themselves wealthy, one hamburger at a time is the same as me selling one bag of coffee at a time, in other words. So we're intrinsically linked that way. So the hamburger is metaphorical for this scene here, because this scene is based on me being Ezekiel 25:17, and him talking about hamburgers. It's just one perspective of what the hamburger means. So when he's talking about hamburgers, it's referring to the Seminoles buying hamburgers off of me as the Burger King or the king of all creation, or the father creator of all creation, who is the king. So when you listen to this thing, he's like, hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast. The cornerstone is basically referring to this here. buying back, their rights, their land, etc. One hamburger at a time. It's a cornerstone, so the two are linked. So when he says cornerstone, it refers to the Seminoles buying themselves back one hamburger at a time. Here, hamburger, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast. That breakfast is talking about coffee, meaning, hamburgers and breakfast mean coffee because you usually drink coffee with, breakfast. So that's how I can tell, and I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that 10 years ago when I started that concept of getting my foot in the door with the Hard Rock Cafe. I'm just getting this information today after I made that video previous to this one. So, cornerstone of any just nutritious breakfast. What kind of hamburgers? Um, cheeseburgers. No. Where'd you get them? The McDonald's, Wendy's, Jack in the Box, Big Kahuna Burger, Big Kahuna Burger. So when he says Big Kahuna Burger, it's referring to me being a big Kahuna. Like Big Kahuna means like a big shot, right? So Burger King is my favorite burgers. I just love the way they put the onions, the taste of the onions with the tomatoes and the lettuce and the mayonnaise and the ketchup with the burger. It's the best tasting fast food burger that I've ever had. Nothing compares to a Burger King burger. I'm a Burger King aficionado. I don't prefer any other kind of burgers other than theirs. So, when we take over the world with the People's Corporation of Canada, and we begin buying out some of these these franchises, we don't need all those burger restaurants. We may keep two or three. And I can guarantee you, Burger King is gonna be at the top of that list. Some of you might like McDonald's, so we might keep McDonald's. But eventually, we're gonna phase out that type of food. We'll still keep the logo like Burger King, but when you go in there or McDonald's, you're not gonna get a burger and fries, man. You're gonna get some rice, chicken, and vegetables. You're slowly gonna phase out the junk while we put in better food. But that's not something that can happen overnight. It takes years, right? You just can't shut up person's diet off right away. So a couple of years, 2 years, but in between the transition, just think of there being, a few hamburger joints worldwide. We narrow it down because when we collectively own all the burger joints together, we don't need competition. Like there's hundreds and hundreds of different burger joints out there. So by narrowing them down to our top 5 picks, we can keep 5 of them around. Then the other ones, just get rid of them. And then eventually we get rid of them all together. So when he's talking about the Big Kahuna Burger, he's talking about Burger King being at the top of the pile because that's what the creator likes. I don't like any of the other than Whoppers, man. I could eat a Whopper every day, forever, if I could. If that's allowed, I could have it. So, Big Kahuna Burger. You mean Burger King? Yeah, Burger King. That's what he's talking about. But the Big Kahuna means the Hard Rock Cafe because them guys they own $1 billion company. So Big Kahuna Burger means Burger King, but also means Hard Rock Cafe. So Big Kahuna Burger. That's the Hawaiian burger joint. So I took a picture of this because it's the Seminole Hard Rock casino. Then there's this here like Hard Rock Cafe, New York City. So when you go into these Hard Rock cafes, you can get a burger, right? So that's the connection. Plus the fact that they said they're gonna buy back their land one burger at a time. So here it's like that's a Hawaiian burger joint. I hear they got some tasty burgers. I ain't never had one myself. How are they? Good. You mind if I try one of yours? So when he says I ain't never had one before, that's me. In my previous story where I told you, I had this this vision to get my foot in the door at all the First Nations across Canada, and then here it is here, First Nations across Canada. And then at the casinos in Canada, and then the casinos in North America, Native American casinos. But my dream goal was to get into the Seminole Hard Rock Cafe. So when he says, I ain't never, what's it, I ain't never had one myself, however, it's referring to me not being able to fulfill my dream of getting my foot in the door at the Hard Rock Cafe. I ain't never been able to roast coffee to be able to approach Hard Rock Cafe. How are they? Is what it means. So I never had the opportunity to talk to the Hard Rock Cafe and sell my coffee to them before, which, by the way, is called Algonquin Ridge Coffee Company. How are they? So they're good. If I try one of yours, this is yours right here. This is a tasty burger. Or, that's like the Hard Rock Cafe saying, this is a tasty cup of coffee. I like this, Anthony. Vincent, you ever had a big Kahuna burger? Vincent, that's Jaden's uncle Vinny. So, Vinny, you're today you're driving behind the scenes here. You're kind of driving, helping formulate these stories behind the scenes at the spiritual level. So, when he says, Vincent, you ever had a big Kahuna burger? I mean, it's referring to Vincent. You ever have a cup of Anthony's coffee? No, he hasn't. So, you want to bite? They're real tasty, or you want to drink? Taste real good. We'll give them a try sometime. Me, I can't usually get them because my girlfriend's a vegetarian, which pretty much makes me a vegetarian. So what she's actually talking about there, mankind, is grandmother being inside of me. And if she's a vegetarian, it means that she's a herbivore. Yeah, I'm a carnivore. He's basically telling you that I'm the Alpha and Omega. I'm the man who has a female spirit and male spirit inside of my male body, making me the Alpha and Omega, which allows me to rewind time across all creation. If anybody messes around with me, grandmother could just rewind time like that and get rid of everyone. 242 trillion evil people will just fall dead across all creation. All the robots, all the evil people, just like that, including the people here on planet Earth who are imposters. So that's what he's talking about. I'm Alpha Omega, or I'm a vegetarian, and I'm a meatitarian, whatever they call them. So the next thing here is this coffee shop. So I clicked on it because I wanted to see how it would connect to the story. So coffee shop here by Saturday Night Live is what you want to watch. And these guys here, they're from Burger King. That's a Burger King outfit. So the three guys here, okay, these three ones here, they're connected to the three here. So I met with three members of the Seminole tribe. So when you watch this other video here, the Seminole Tribe of Florida's Conservation Efforts, Good Natured, by We Do PBS, the three people that they interview there, when you guys watch this, those are your spirits that have put together this little presentation here regarding hamburgers or coffee from Burger King. So this is your skit, your spirits. So the three people from that video who are Seminole, their spirits have created this little skit here on Saturday Night Live. So that's them there because of their chief or whoever chieftain saying that they're going to buy back their land or their rights one hamburger at a time. They're the Burger Kings. I'm the Burger King. So there's a cross reference or a cross cultural reference between the Seminoles wanting to buy back their land and rights one burger at a time, and me wanting to sell my coffee to them one bag of coffee at a time. But because Burger King is the creator's favorite fast food burger, it connects to them wanting to buy back their land one burger at a time. So the three of them, this is their skit. So they walk in and they're actually coffee from Burger King, right? Which means Hard Rock Cafe, but it actually means Anthony. So what it's referring to is me getting my foot in the door 10 years ago with the Hard Rock Cafe. That's what the skit is about. You have to connect it back to the burgers from Pulp Fiction and that questioning in there. I ain't never had any. I never got to sell my coffee to Seminoles because I'm too busy trying to save mankind. I had to put my dream on hold. In other words, I never had a hamburger holiday. So it's referring to me going there, selling my coffee, and them liking it. Because these guys here, they like the coffee. So had I not had to start this vision quest 10 years ago and save your asses, mankind, I would have been a billionaire because Hard Rock Cafe would have let me sell my coffee to them. Guaranteed. That's all I know by watching this. But I didn't know this 10 years ago. I just had the vision about you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. It's a perfect world, right? I'm the only North America's only Native American coffee roaster with a big dream of this size, and here's my product. Yeah, well, we like your product. We like how it tastes. So that's basically what it's like. They like the product, and then they'd start selling it in their coffee shops or their businesses, their hotels, their restaurants. So so gourmet coffee became Joe. What the hell? What's this coffee? What? This coffee's from Burger King? Look, damn, I'll be going to Burger King. When you say you go to Burger King a lot more, it's referred to the Hard Rock Cafe buying my coffee 10 years ago because it's so good, and then people going into the Hard Rock Cafe and saying, "Holy shit, this is a good cup of coffee. Where are you guys getting this coffee from?" You know, the Hard Rock Cafe selling good coffee, because it's not just about buying, coffee. There's a process. You need to have the proper equipment and store it in put it into your business. You know, the proper temperature, the proper solids in the water. There's a whole science behind making a perfect cup of coffee. But that's what I would have to go in and teach them, and then install the equipment in their business and make sure that they serve the proper coffee machines. And then you got to serve fresh roasted coffee. You got to grind it. Then you got to serve it within 7 days. After 7 days, the shit expires and it sucks. You don't want to drink coffee that's any older than 7 days, man. So that's referring to their business getting a boost from my coffee business. Had I gone and seen them and helped them out, everyone would have been talking about how good the Hard Rock Cafe's coffee is. So that's what it's referring to when these guys say this is Burger King. I mean, this is the Hard Rock Cafe's Seminole coffee. Damn it, I'm going to go to these guys' coffee a lot more. So it's a win-win. But I never got that opportunity. But it also means when people go to Burger King in the future, and mankind, when we buy that restaurant collectively, and you're going to Burger King, or you're going to McDonald's, or you're going to Jack in the Box, or you're going to White Castle, whatever fast food chain it may be, the coffee being sold there is going to be mine. And everyone's be like, this comes from Burger King. I gotta go there a lot more. Doesn't matter where you go to get your coffee, or your some fancy cafe on the corner. It's still going to be mine, and the coffee's still all going to be the same. So that's what the skit is about, and that's what the Seminoles are letting you guys know that. Yeah, we would have bought his coffee. It would have helped our business out, but also we're still going to buy his coffee in the future. But also his spirits, we can see where the business is going to go, and he's going to sell coffee in the Burger King because he's the king of all creation, and he loves Whoppers. So that's you three guys. When you watch yourselves on here, that's your little story. So this one here is the casino proposals. What is that one now? Right here. So this is casino proposal, right? So it's about me going to the Hard Rock Cafe Casino, proposing my my coffee to these guys and them buying it because of the previous skit coffee shop where they like it, the Burger King. So they would have bought it. Just think of the Burger King employees as being that the very first slide here where they talk about buying back their land or whatever with one burger at a time. So today we buy it back one hamburger at a time. So that one hamburger at a time means when you see the Burger King employees, right? Here is this referring to everything I just said. I would have been rich had I not had to save the day and go on this vision quest where, I had to do things in this bedroom that I'm not proud of, but, I'm not ashamed of it. And I'm willing to tell you what I did in here. As long as that tape that these bad guys are going to bring here, I have a problem with that tape because it's fake, not real. As opposed to me telling you what I did here. There's a difference. That's real. Me being honest with you, what I did here, word for word, I don't mind telling you what I did here. Why would I do have a problem with people coming here with a fake tape they say they created through the eye, which basically shows me assassinating probably some white god and then causing chaos on some other distant planet hundreds of thousands of years ago, jumping in a UFO, flying over here, burying it in Antarctica, and then having my friends come over here every couple decades so that I can deatomize my body and then put it into a different person and walk around as them. That's what they say. They have a plan to tell you that I came here during a bush party and I abducted Anthony and I took his body over and then put my Neuralink in his brain and I'm an android. That's what they're going to tell you and that's what you'll see in the show, right? Plus all the other whatever else they put on there. It's all fake, man. So, why did I get on that tangent? Anyhow, when they come here, I need to be afforded the opportunity to speak the truth. So, back on the subject here. So, that's what the casino proposal is. Me going down to Florida, proposing to them, can I please sell my coffee here in your company? Sure, go ahead. But subliminally, it's still about Joe because this woman's name is Joe. This guy loses his shirt and he goes all in on a pair of fours and he loses everything. He says, I don't know what else to do, Joe. So Joe is what is a cup of Joe? So if you look up this, what is a cup of Joe? Or this one, why is coffee called a cup of Joe? I haven't even looked it up yet. And I can't remember why it is, but I don't know what else to do. Joe means I don't know what else to do, cup of coffee. So the proposal means that, I would have been able to get my foot in the door because of the terminology Joe. And so, when he says, I don't know what else to do, he says, he tells her, I don't know what else to do, we lost everything. So because he lost everything, it's a representation of the Hard Rock Cafe sympathizing with me because they know that, I live on a reserve, they live on a reserve, they lost everything, we lost everything. So it's like, wow, this guy's got a really good vision of making some money by selling coffee. Why don't we support him? I mean, we're a multi-billion-dollar reservation. He comes from a reservation that's worth millions, but he's broke. So why don't we support him? So so it's coming from that perspective. They can understand how both reservations lost everything and that they're selling theirs one hamburger at a time and that I want to sell mine one bag of coffee at a time. So this guy comes in and he tries to sleep with his wife. I forget what show this is. They base this on something, but the guy there offering being a wealthy man as just a representation of me. Look, I'm a very wealthy man. I'll give you $600 for $1. So when I said that I had this vision to get my feet in the door here in Canada first, in the local area with the local Ontario, with the local First Nations, and sell them coffee and get, because the money that First Nations get from Canada, they can use it to buy coffee. So it's basically, wow, this guy wants to buy coffee, and it's not coming from our pockets, it's coming from Canada. So let's support him. And so that's that type of mentality. Like he has a good dream. His coffee is really good. His product is good, and it'll probably increase employee productivity when we show a little bit of initiative and show care for them. So imagine 10 First Nations having the best coffee they could possibly offer their employees. It shows initiative, which can increase productivity, employee productivity, simply by offering them a better cup of coffee in the morning, the best cup of coffee possibly. So by doing that around Southern Ontario, I could probably get start with about 10 or 20, 30 clients, and Canada's footing the bill. The First Nation doesn't have to pay a damn thing for it, so it's a win-win. And then from there, I'd start going elsewhere, visiting the casinos in Canada and North America. And then eventually the Hard Rock Cafe. So because these are casinos, it's a representation of me getting my foot in the door at those casinos, specifically Casino Rama over here. In Ontario, there's a Casino Rama. That was my big dream, was to get my foot in the door at Casino Rama, because if I got my foot in the door over there, I would have been a millionaire. So I tend to pull these up just so people understand what they are. So if you want to watch this here, welcome to Casino Rama. You get a better understanding. So I would go approach this place here, and I'd ask them if I could sell coffee there. So when you're watching the casino strip, it's connected to the Hard Rock Cafe casino, but also the other casinos of North America. So that's one in Canada, but they got them all over the place in North America. I mean, I think they do. You pull up like Simpsons probably does one. Yeah, here's you watch We Must Respect the Way of the Indian. Like this is the Simpsons in these casinos. It's a big thing here in America world. Native Americans they tend to build casinos. It's well known. If you're an American, you know that Native Americans they run casinos. So you can watch it on the Simpsons, right? So when you watch it over here, this guy being a wealthy man sitting in a casino means, when I tell you, if I got my foot in the door at Casino Rama and then I go to these other casinos around North America with the same pitch, I'd be the only person ever to walk in their door saying, I'm a coffee roaster, Native American coffee roaster, and I'd like to supply you with coffee and teach you how to make that coffee so that you make it the best coffee that you're I'm not going to say merchants. What's the word? Your clientele or your patrons. So when their patrons are in their casinos, I want you to picture a Native American casino. Go in there, and you want to keep those people away, keep them gambling, right? So if you have the best coffee, fresh, 7 days supply being shipped to you every 7 days, and you have the best equipment, you have the person telling you how to make the coffee the proper way, which it has to be made in a specific temperature. It can't be higher, it can't be lower. I don't know if you've ever seen those what is it? There's a court case. Court case. So, hot coffee lawsuits. These guys, they make their coffee way too hot. So there's a specific temperature. When the water's too hot, you don't get the proper extraction of the coffee flavor. You basically kill the coffee. So it has to be produced at a specific temperature. And the solids in the water have to be specific too, like a certain parts per million. You just can't, use municipal water with chlorine in it. You're not going to get a good product. So you have to have a specific system set up. So the casinos, when I would go see them, I would teach them about that and say, this is why you got to do things this way, because if you do it the way you guys want to do it, you're going to do my coffee injustice, and you're not going to get the best product. So I'd say, here's the product, put it in your machine. Okay, now here's my equipment here. Can you taste the difference? And they'd say, holy shit, that's way different. So by providing the casino's patrons with a better cup of coffee, quite possibly the best coffee that they've ever had in their life, it's like, it makes them want to drink more of it. Plus, keeps them awake so they can spend more money. So it's a win-win. So when this guy walks into this casino proposal, that's me walking across all the casinos in North America and becoming a wealthy man from them. So when I tell you that, in my previous video that's what I wanted to do, and had this vision, I'm not lying when I said I could have been a billionaire. I could have got rich off of all the casinos, Hard Rock Cafe, all the casinos, plus all the reservations, even the reservations by coffee. I would have been a billionaire, but no, I had to put that on hold for you guys. So. So now, if I go over here and we go look at this what is it, that's the $1 trillion deal with the devil. It has to do with coffee, right? So now, in the previous video, I mentioned Olivia. So Olivia, it's very important for Olivia to take the initiative to make sure that the farmers are getting paid well, because that's what the best cup in the Philippines is about. She's from the Philippines, so she wants to lead that initiative, and help try to do it. So when you watch this Drop Dead story, that's what it's about. So, it's just like, I'm the king of coffee, she's the queen of coffee. She doesn't know yet, but the color's there, so that's what that represents. So, where does she go in here? I don't even know where she went on there. This one. So, that's her. I always knew that I wanted to lead the campaign, or the campaign to bring fair trade to the world. So you're going to have an integral role in terms of selling this coffee to the world, but also helping me run it is what it means. So now we can close out with that. Right? This way, that's fair trade. So if I sell my beans for $20 a pound, farmers, you're going to be sure that you're going to make $10 a pound for your beans. That's the campaign that you want to lead. It's important that you lead that campaign. That's what you're saying. That's fair trade, world. And that's my gift to you, farmers. Because to me, that seems fair and equal. That's fair trade. Not giving the guy 25 cents more on a dollar a pound of coffee when he has a family to feed and stuff like that. That's not fair, man. So, remember that. I can cure sickness with my blood, and only me. And because I didn't, because I prevented, COVID from mutating, I've saved you from, it going with rabies, but there's still a danger that it can still mutate. So, it says likable brand here. So there's going to be a brand association with Olivia as the new mother of all creation. So that's something how we could package that. So package it around her being the new mother creator, and there's a buildable brand there. So that's people liking that buildable brand. Just because the mother didn't um have the baby doesn't mean that the virus can't mutate over time. The acting teacher, that's about half of mankind being acting like people who they're not. Still a threat of it mutating. So I need to be afforded that opportunity. I need to be afforded. This is a big chain company here in Canada, so we'll be supplying them with coffee. It's customers' payback, right? So. Opportunity in 2027 to run, exercise, purify my blood, so that the scientists can create a vaccine for my blood. And that's another way that I can prove that I'm the creator and not them, because only my blood can create a vaccine to cure COVID and all these other viruses out there. If you ask the aliens to try to do the same, it won't work. It might work because if they got nanobots in their blood, then they might be able to do something. But no, if you create a vaccine for my blood, you can look at it through a microscope and you'd probably be able to see the difference. So that's what's going on. It's just another way to prove that I'm the creator. So please afford me the opportunity to prove that I can create a vaccine for my blood with my. There's a story I got to tell you after this. They're trying to get me to believe that you were gonna let me go, and I was to pursue this other girl, the one previous about Stare. But I saw through their manipulation. But anyhow, I was playing this song yesterday because it was about me leaving you behind to be with this other girl. I did Escape, same thing, same story. So the reason the same story, but there's a long story behind that. But I might tell you that one next. So just a little. Give you a little insight into what was going on behind the scenes here, because I thought a little bit awkward that this so close to the finish line that they're trying to pull me away from you. So I had to see where it went, and yeah, I figured out that's what they're doing. They're trying to pull me away from you because they're worried. So anyhow, 100% pure atoms. And as I said before, the fee or cough fee or the fee associated with getting rid of COVID. You see the Port Authority here? I haven't even watched this, but I'm going to watch it after this. But when I tell you about, there's First Nations on the East Coast, because I heard about them guys. They built a port over there on the East Coast. They're a Native American reservation who has a port, meaning they could bring ships onto their reservation. Those big tanker ships, and there's one on the West Coast. So that's where I had that other dream of bringing those coffee beans into those reservations on the East Coast and West Coast, and I wouldn't have to pay the taxes, because I have to pay the GST on products coming into Canada. But if I bring that product onto a reservation, I don't have to pay that GST. That savings, which is I think 7%, would save me 7%, and that's nothing to sneeze at, man. I mean, 7% is a big deal. So I could save, imagine on $1 billion saving, 700. What is it on $1 million? What was it anyway? So yeah, it's a lot. Like $7 on 100, so $70 on 1,000, 700 on 10,000, 7,000 on 100,000. So it adds up. So you include this in your viewing, because it's about me wanting to build these coffee roasters on those First Nations on the East Coast where there's a port, and on the West Coast there's a port. I'll put one here on the res, but there's also going to be ones out there. Those ones on the West and East Coast would be the main factories, because they could ship the coffee beans to there on the reserve and then ship them back out from there or whatever. That's just for North America. I'd have to do the same thing around the world. But when I talk about the dream about building those coffee roasters on the east and west coast, that's what this one is about. And I haven't even watched this. It's like Port Authority, Blaine Reed. So when you watch that, this one, that's what it's about. Which is a lung disease or cough, is me being the only coffee roaster on planet Earth. So that I can bring fair trade to those third world countries that are getting the shaft from us average consumers and all the middlemen out there. Now, the shaft. I was watching the shaft on there, and there's a part on there about where the shaft says, I thought it turned you on when he was when we got in a fight or something. I can't remember what he says, but it's regarding this weekend. This weekend they were trying to snowball my relationship behind the scenes here that I have with her spirit. So I got a relationship with grandmother's spirit, but I also have a relationship with Olivia's spirit as well. So they're trying to sabotage that work that I've put in with her for the past couple months, and get me to leave her behind in favor of somebody else. So once we get rid of oil, the number one traded commodity on the planet is going to be coffee, owned by me and Miss Olivia Rodrigo, your new mother. So, you should watch this one here. Say You Won't Let Go. Because he talks about, I kiss the coffee. I'll take the kids to school, wave them goodbye. He talks about coffee. So, when you watch this song, Living in World, it's about her and I. At some point in the future, she's going to come here to meet me, or I'm assuming she'll come here. So I met you in the dark, you lit me up, you made me feel as though it was enough. So we danced the night away, so we could probably dance around out there, put on some music, dance, but we're going to be having a few drinks. And she's going to throw up. Like she may drink a little bit too much to lighten the nerves, so that's that. And then you smiled over your shoulder. For a minute, I was stone cold sober, so as she's throwing up, I'm holding her hair back. She smiled over her shoulder, so I pulled you closer. Then you asked to stay over. I said, I already told you, I think you should get some rest. So, I know how drinking is. It can lead, one can lead to another can lead to another, and then it's like, next thing you know, you're drinking for 24 hours straight, 48 hours straight. So I've been down that road. I was a young lad once too, right? So it's a representation of her overdoing it. So he's like, I knew I loved you then, but you never know. So it's basically, because I love her spirit and I love grandmother's spirit, that love is already there. It's just a matter of getting to know this girl in the physical, and then the bridge will be built. But having her here one night is our first meeting. I could fall really quick and fast. It usually takes me 2 weeks to fall in love, but because I've never fallen in love this way, meaning meeting somebody's spirit before you actually meet the person, that may take me a week, but this song I would assume takes one night. So, so right here, so I'll wake you up with some breakfast in bed. So you're probably watching this right now with some breakfast in your bed, and I'll bring you coffee with a kiss on your head. So I'll take the kids to school. I'm taking them to school now because they're watching these videos. They're learning. Wave them goodbye, and I'll thank my lucky stars for that night. So this here, kids, when I tell you that I can rewind time, if I wave goodbye, that's referring to me having to rewind time and getting rid of half of the planet who are imposters. And thanking my lucky stars means the star out here and that's out there, that's my soul. Meaning the electricity can flow over to this planet's core and the moon's core and rewind time backwards 24 hours, shocking everything evil, pulling out those electrons in the atom that's inside of the people's ventral root nerve in the spinal cord, and putting that person's original electron back in place.
basically you guys would fall asleep. Half the planet would fall asleep. Half the planet will wake up. And I'd thank my lucky stars for that night. So be cautious, children, is what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I'm taking you to school, because this isn't like, and this Anthony is not like those other 9 Anthonys. I'm different. That's how I've designed myself to get out of this prison. And you need to be cautious. So that's why I'm taking you to school. So, um, anyhow, Libby, this is for you. Okay, so I'll wake you up with some breakfast in bed. So it means literally like you'll be laying here passed out beside me. We'll wake up. I'll make you some breakfast in bed, and I'll make you some coffee. However, as I said before, waking you up, waking your third eye up with some breakfast in bed, I'll bring you coffee. Meaning, Algonquin Ridge Coffee Company, where you're an integral part of that because of what you said in that other video. It's important to you. I always knew that I wanted to lead the campaign. So, anyhow, I'll see you in the next video. I might do that one about what they tried to do here on the weekend. Trying to sabotage my relationship. Our relationship, I should say. Before it even happens is the weird part, because you don't even know anything about this. You're sitting around here chumming around, doing whatever you're doing out there. And here I am, totally aware, totally awake, knowing what's going on. But you ain't gonna watch this probably for several months, if not a year. But when you do, you're gonna slowly wake up and you realize who you are.